So finally, a few people are starting to talk about this extraordinary and ongoing attack on our stock exchange. The NZX has been hit for 5 straight days. Yesterday, the website got knocked offline. Trading carried on, though. It appeared to expand into a couple of media outlets and some banks. So where is the GCSB at? The GCSB Minister Andrew Little is with us. Good morning to you.
Good morning, mate.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 you wouldn't have a clue, 10 you're all over it. Where are you at?
Oh, I think we're probably 7 or 8.
Good. So you're on top of it-ish.
Yeah. Well, GCSB's been in contact with NZX since the outset. I mean, the NZX contacted the National Cyber Security Centre, which is part of the GCSB. They didn't want help originally, but as it wore on last week, they got help. And then by Friday, the GCSB stood up, in terms of government, a pretty serious group to provide assistance and support to NZX.
Just for clarification, this began Tuesday. When did the GCSB get involved?
Well, at that time.
So they were there Tuesday?
Yeah, they were notified Tuesday. They gave what verbal advice they could. They weren't sought out any sort of technical advice. The technical advice followed.
All right. The banks and the media, are these the same people, do we know?
I'm not quite sure what's in the media, but other banks and media have been...
well, that's what I'm saying. Stuff claim they were hit. RNZ claim they were hit. Are these the same people hitting the NZX?
Well, we don't know. The way this operates, it's a denial of service attack. So they all get bombarded with contact from thousands and thousands of computers. The NZX was one of the ones that got a message, an email message, before they got bombarded. So there's work going on tracking back where that might have come from. But some of the other attacks were not preceded by an email. So, but the modus operandi is the same. So the chances are it is the same operator.
And it's not state.
The nature of this tends to be criminal activity as opposed to state-backed. I mean, you can't rule it out, but it's more likely than not to be criminal activity.
Do they want Bitcoin?
I understand that ransom has been sought in some cases, but not others. And when you look at what's happening in other parts of the world, again, similar things happening at the same time, similar modus operandi. This does seem to be a pretty sophisticated operation. In some cases, ransom being sought, and others not.
Are we weak? In other words, is this our fault?
No, I mean, DDoS attacks are very hard to mitigate against in advance, apart from having architecture that means that you can withstand an attack. So you have enough kind of bandwidth so that the genuine queries get through, but the miscellaneous ones or the criminal ones just sort of get pushed back. So it's up to each individual enterprise and their ISP to work out what's best for them. In this case, I think NZX was found to be vulnerable.
Are you one of those people who thinks we should be storing data here as opposed to in the cloud?
I think there's a benefit for us to have our data stored here and have hyperscale data processing onshore. I think there's a security issue there. I think, and there's probably a hierarchy of interest there too. So I think most of the government information that we store on the cloud actually ought to be stored here. There's a lot of private business information that ought to be stored here. But there are plenty of businesses that operate the cloud and operate storing their data and processing it in other parts of the world.
How does this end and when?
In the end, you just got to withstand it, and it fizzles out because these guys tend to look. It's an economic proposition for them. They're there to cause disruption. Once they stop causing disruption, or they're there to get some money, and once that doesn't come through, they give up and go somewhere else.
Appreciate your time very much, Andrew Little.